Just about 10 minutes to the top of the hour here, and Hamas's terror attack in Israel and the current war could really reshape the 2024 presidential race. Evangelical voters in Iowa are now reportedly prioritizing GOP candidates' support for Israel. This as Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is facing criticism from one of his own rivals after he ordered state universities to shut down a pro-Palestinian group. Vivek Ramaswamy ripping that approach.
My view is that the answer to bad speech is not less speech, it is more speech. Now, my view is those Harvard students or those other student groups, they're way out of line. They're idiotic, they're foolhardy. But the way we do this in the United States of America is through free speech and open debate.
Yeah, also sharing that those students shouldn't be kept or barred from future, job opportunities and employment. For more on this, let's bring in the editor-in-chief of The Hill, Bob Cusack. Bob, it's always good to see you. The last 3 weeks have been so turbulent overseas that it's really taken the oxygen away from this presidential election. Let's start with Iowa, if we could. If evangelical voters are making Israel a main focus, which GOP candidates would that help or even hurt?
Well, certainly the knives are out for second place. We know that Donald Trump is winning all the early states and winning by a lot. As far as who gets it, that remains to be seen. Certainly, Nikki Haley, who is like other Republicans, is pro-Israel, has been making a surge. And if she were to beat out DeSantis in Iowa, that could be the end of DeSantis right there. But certainly, the evangelicals in Iowa have a lot of sway, and these candidates are going to be courting that vote.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about that soundbite, an interview that we just played. You just heard Vivek Ramaswamy slamming Governor DeSantis and his ban on this pro-Palestinian group. Ramaswamy saying the answer to bad speech is not less speech, it's more speech. Which candidate approach, Ramaswamy or DeSantis, which approach fares better among American voters in this moment in time? And also, what does this tell you about the state of cancel culture that we're in right now?
I think that's a pretty good answer by Vivek Ramaswamy because I'm a little biased. I'm also a big fan of the First Amendment. But at the same time, the cancel culture, I think that people are getting tired of it. And while Vivek clearly made the case that he doesn't agree with those opinions, doesn't think you should ban them. And that's going to be an interesting contrast with the former president who's not going to be showing up at the next debate. But certainly President Trump doesn't mind banning some things he doesn't like.
Yeah. From the former president to the current president now, some Muslim American groups have been really criticizing President Biden's stance on Israel, including the mayor of Dearborn, Michigan, saying they feel betrayed over a lack of support for Gaza residents. How concerned should the White House be over this, and how closely are they listening into that feedback, Bob?
Well, listen, the White House got to be very careful. They have to walk a delicate line because there are more and more Democrats now that are sympathetic to Palestinians. And there's a big difference, let's say, between Chuck Schumer, who's a big fan of Israel, and AOC, who has been somewhat of a thorn in the side at the White House of time. So I think that, remember, Biden won narrowly in 2020. If he's going to win again, he's going to need to unite the party, and the party is fractured on this.
Yeah, absolutely. He's had a resolute stance on Israel, which has been praised by many, I will say, but it's certainly riling up young Democrats and Muslim Americans as well. Could that cost him the election? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Bob Cusack, thanks as always, sir. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.